Hello, Mark and Pam. Thanks for joining us today. We'll probably start a few minutes after 12 just to make sure everybody has enough time to get in and deal with any tech issues. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. We'll start in about 10 minutes. This is Mary Morgan, by the way. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. We'll probably start around noon or maybe a minute or two afterwards, just to make sure that everybody is able to get in. I'm Mary Morgan, the Director of Veteran Services today. If you can, I'd love for everybody to jump in the chat and just put your name and your lodge in there so we can see who is in attendance today and hopefully get some good discussions going. Hi, Lee. From San Antonio, thanks for joining us. Kathleen, hello. Hi, Denise. Welcome. As you're arriving, please, if you can, put your name and where you're from in the chat function, just so we can all see who's here today and use it for good discussion later on.
Can we speak now? No. I'll turn.
Hi, Kelly from Sterling. Thanks for joining us. Carl, hello.
So, how is everyone this beautiful June summer day?
Very good. Very good. Hi, Marga. Hi, Marga. Welcome.
Us? Us? Nadesh, can you hear us? Nadesh, can you hear us?
We can hear you. We can hear you. There's a bit of an echo. There's a bit of an echo.
Oh. Oh. I'm going to start it over. I'm going to start it over. Is it okay to start it over? Is it okay to start it over?
I I will tell you that Wayne will have difficulty probably trying to connect. He's not very computer literate.
Mary, this is Stacy.
You guys hear us?
Yes.
There's an app.
Everyone put me over.
Okay, you'll notice that everybody is muted. We have done that just to cut down on feedback. We'll unmute everybody later on so we can have a good discussion. But to start out, we do have some presenters, so we'll keep everybody muted for a while. And then just while we're doing all the presentations. We do want to hear your beautiful voices, just not immediately.
Mary, are you getting that as well?
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Mary Morgan. I'm the Director of Veteran Service here at the Elks. As you come in, we do ask that you please put your name and where you're from in the chat box, just so we can see who's here. Did that fix the echo?
Yes, it definitely did on my end. Sounds good.
Okay, I'd like to introduce Nadej Mulholland. She is the program contact for the Welcome Home program, so I'm sure you're all very familiar with her. And she's going to be hosting the event today. Nadej, do you want to kick this off?
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you all for joining us today. I'm really excited about this. You may know that this is the first time that we've done an event like this for the Welcome Home program.
Can't hear you.
Oh.
I think that'll be better.
Let's see. Can you guys hear me at all right now? Shoot. Sorry, I am trying to get this to work here.
You're much louder now.
Can you hear me now? Is that working okay?
Yes.
Okay, good. Sorry about that. I was having a little bit of volume issue with my computer, so I tried to go the headphones route. So hopefully let me know if you can't hear me at any point. But what I was saying is just, you guys may all be aware that this is, the first time that we're doing an event like this, where we're bringing together Elks from across the country to talk about their experiences with the Welcome Home program. So I am really excited and really glad that all of you were able to join us today. As Mary said, yes, we're asking everyone to kind of introduce themselves in the chat. And then there will also be, if you have questions throughout, feel free to type them in the chat as well. And there will be time at the end for more interactive questions as well. So I'm going to start by giving a little bit of an overview of the Welcome Home program and, how it works. So you can kind of get a sense of how all the different pieces fit together. So many of you know this already, but when we talk about the Welcome Home program, what we're talking about is the ENVSC's focus on serving veterans who are homeless, recently became housed, or are at risk of homelessness. Every night, there are as many as 40,000 veterans who are living on the streets. And so we made the pledge in partnership with the Department of Veterans Affairs to help end veteran homelessness. And the Welcome Home program launched in 2015. The idea behind today's event is really just to bring all of us together because we know that working together allows us to serve homeless veterans even better. So we hope that what you'll come away from today with is some inspiration, learning about the experiences of fellow Elks volunteers, and maybe getting some new invigorated ideas that you can take back to your own lodges as well. So we're going to be hearing from 6 lodges today that are active in serving homeless veterans. There are a number of different ways that you can serve veterans, serve homeless veterans through Elks funding. One of the ways that I want to talk about is the Welcome Home Kit program. Welcome Home Kits, we will reimburse lodges for purchasing household supplies and beds for veterans who are transitioning into permanent housing. We'll reimburse up to $300 for a kit or $500 for a kit with a bed. Really cool because this program is very accessible and flexible, so you can really provide as many or as few kits as fit the needs of veterans in your area and volunteer capacity, whether that's a couple of kits a year or even as many as a couple of kits a week. And they're very adaptable and can meet veterans' unique needs. Another way to serve homeless veterans is the Focus Grant. Focus grants are available just in the 10 metropolitan areas with the highest numbers of homeless veterans. They fund active large-scale projects that range from $5,000 to $10,000. And it's kind of an exciting one because it's the only Elks grant that is solely reserved for serving veterans who are facing homelessness. And then there are additional grants as well that can be really great resources for serving homeless veterans. And includes the Freedom Grant. That one is administered by the ENVSC to serve veterans or active duty military members in need. That doesn't have to be used for homeless veterans, but lots of lodges do choose to use those funds for homeless veterans, and it's a great opportunity to serve that population. There are also community investment program grants that can be used to serve homeless veterans as well, including the Spotlight Grant, Beacon Grant, and Gratitude Grant. Now, it's important to note that the projects you'll be hearing about today can be funded by a variety of different sources. So when you're starting to plan a project, it's always important to read the guidelines for that specific grant because they do vary, just to make sure that it's going to fit with what you're trying to plan. And then just wanted to also touch on a few of the different project ideas that are common ways of serving homeless veterans. And these are all projects that lodges are currently engaging in. So providing furniture and household supplies for veterans who are moving into new homes after a period of homelessness, helping veterans create stability in their new homes through practicing skills like budgeting, cooking, or job searching, stocking and managing a closet of food, hygiene, and other essential items for veterans at a transitional living center, hosting meals and regular events for veterans at local transitional living facilities can be a great way to sort of help veterans build community and develop a support system. Partnering with veteran service groups to hold events such as stand downs and resource fairs throughout the year. And of course, more. You don't have to feel limited to these ideas because you and your community partners know what veterans are experiencing in your area. So there is definitely room to be more expansive beyond this list as well, always. So now that we've kind of given a general overview of the Welcome Home program, I'm excited to really turn the stage over to our volunteers who are going to be presenting today. Each of the lodges that we've asked to speak today, there's something unique that they bring to the table about how they serve homeless veterans, something that we know other lodges can benefit from hearing and learning about their experiences. So we are going to kick off the first presentation with a DC area, our DC area lodges. So we will be hearing today from Wayne Blake of Loudoun, Virginia, and from Carl Robinson of Laurel, Maryland. They're going to be sharing with us some experiences focusing on the importance of forming strong relationships with VA staff members and engaging in regular scheduled communication to best serve veterans. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen. And Wayne and Carl, if you could go ahead and turn on your video, we can focus on what you guys have to share with us today.
I believe mine is on, correct?
Yep, it sure is.
Yep.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay, Carl, you want me to start? Okay, I'll go ahead and start. We went into a different venture the way we did things out here for the metropolitan area. We actually have. I'm echoing. I can hear. Does that matter?
One person can be muted at a time. Unmuted.
Okay, we all right? Okay, sounds good. Anyway, we started with reaching out to the Veterans Administration, and we have every 2 weeks, basically the first and third Wednesdays of the month, we have a meeting with the gentleman, Kevin Morton in DC about our veterans that we're taking care of. We approached this in a different way. I submitted some paperwork that we utilize. We utilize the Welcome Home Kit sheet with all the equipment on it that we can get and help our veterans with. And we came up with our own sheet of what we can donate to them to get them back on their feet. I did send this in to y'all to show everybody if you could do that somewhere along the way, and I'll just keep talking. But we get an email from the caseworker for the veterans and what they need, what they think they need, what they want. We contact the caseworker first and then talk to them and see if there's anything special we need to know. Handicap, whether they can stand, whether they're walking, any special needs that they get. They can allow us to do more that way, because the veterans that we talk to don't always want to come right out and tell us they have a problem. They're quiet. I myself am a veteran. I understand where they come from, and they just don't really like to talk about everything. So you have to talk to them, get them at ease. So we find out what they need, and talking to them over the phone, we make an appointment with them, and we go out and see them in their housing where they've been housed to get a better understanding what we can put in to the place to help them out, because some of these are just, one room basically with a bathroom, kitchen, living room, a studio apartment type thing. Some of them are much bigger. And that way we know what furniture that we can get for them that will fit into their places of they're going to be living. So that's a big thing there. And we also, when we can't always make it, but we go back when we're delivering the furniture, and we come in with their stuff also. They're little things like for the bathroom, kitchen. We usually have a moving company move the bigger stuff, like a couch and things like this, because let's face it, most of us are getting older. We don't want to pick this stuff up. So that's how we help them. The girl that assists me in Virginia, she also she's a hairdresser by trade. She owns her own business. She gives them haircuts when they need it, if they want it. We contact them, we go back, we keep a list of who they are so we can contact them every now and then, so we can see if they need any help further down the way, if something broke or something like that, so we can keep in touch with them. We've even had a few of them that have wanted to join the lodges. So it's very productive. When we go out and see them, we always include both a male and a female. That way everybody is comfortable. And unfortunately, in this day and age, you have to do that to protect yourself and your lodge. Not just because they're a veteran, but we have a problem going on across the United States. You got to protect yourself first, and that's what we do. And it seems to work really well, because the people are really comfortable when they see both, a male and a female there helping them out, and it works out really great for us. I think that about covers it for us. Carl, you want to say anything?
No, you about covered it, Wayne. We've been doing this since 2017 is when we first got up and running. Early in 2017, got our first set of candidates up and running. Took us a while to work the issues out. We had our kickoff meeting in June of 2016, but it took us about 8 months to work all the details out. And that's the form that Wayne was talking about earlier. We always like to get the caseworker to show up as well. Excuse me. That way the veteran sees the caseworker there. It kind of gives the veteran a sense of relief. He knows the caseworker, he or she knows the caseworker. We meet with them. They know that they can reach out to us. I try to refer them back to their caseworker if they have any questions, to keep the caseworker in the loop. And I say, if you need anything, or if something you wanted that we didn't bring, contact your caseworker, and he or she will contact me, and we'll take it from there. They're usually very appreciative. Unlike Wayne, I'm still moving furniture. And I have the back the back spasms to prove it.
Let me add one thing back into it. If I could. We use the welcome home kit and the larger funds in together because it works out for us and it works out all the way around. We can use the 10,000 that we got for our grant, and we can utilize that for the beds and everything else. So we go back to the kit to get them their real small things, like bedspreads, bed linen, kitchen, and bathroom, and it really works out great doing it that way.
Yeah, so it sounds like is it you're using the focus grant for like furniture and then the welcome and the kits for smaller items. Sorry, I don't know if you guys are hearing that echo from me as well.
Yeah.
Is that echoing still?
No, you're good.
Okay, good. So can you tell us more about how you decided to split up those funds to use how did you determine which funds to use for the smaller items and which funds to use for larger items like furniture? Did that happen organically or has that changed over time?
Okay, I got unmuted.
Oh, yes.
It has become, second nature to us. When we started getting when we got the arrival of the welcome home kit, it made things a lot easier. And that's why we use it on a regular basis, because that just gives us more money for the bigger items. So we do it that way. And like I said, second nature, we got our main list that we do for the veterans. And then we have the welcome home kit, and we go down the main list that we came up with and mark things on there. And then we move it over after we get back, we move it over to the welcome home kit. So we know what we can utilize in the welcome home kit and how to best use that money all the way. And then go to the welcome home program, the Grand Lodge, the 10,000.
Yeah, that sounds like a great system that enables you to sort of spread those funds as far as you can.
And
Yes,
Wayne,
it is.
how many years have you guys been running this project?
We started.
We
I'm sorry. We started in 2016 in June. You should know. You flew out to meet with a kickoff meeting, but we really didn't get things up and running until the following February and March was when we really started, and that was with we meet telephonically with the VA twice a month, first and third Wednesdays. So going through that process, it just and phone calls in between. It just took us that long to get the HUD-VASH caseworkers dialed into the program, what we can do to help them, and lining up things on our own side, finding funds and stuff, going through the grant process and stuff for the 4,500 original welcome home grant. So yeah, I guess.
and
I guess it'll be 5 years. I guess if you want to, it's been 5 years. We kicked off in June of 2016. It's now 2021. So I guess 5 years we've been working on this program. I will say one thing that Wayne, and this is what Wayne mentioned. If you decide to take in donated furniture from lodges or families and stuff like that, we have a rule of thumb. And that is, if you wouldn't give it to your mother, why would you give it to a veteran? Because some people go through and want to clean out their garage or clean out their house, and they will try and give you crap. But you have to be prepared to take it all and then dumpster the stuff that we don't think is going to be good enough. You don't want somebody driving. Wayne had a furniture drive Channel 9 News here did a great story twice on Wayne and his group at his lodge in Loudoun County. And they brought furniture from 20, 30, 40 miles away. And you don't want to make them have to turn around and take that furniture back because it doesn't meet our quality. So you just take it, set it in that pile over there. That pile is going to the dumpster or whatever. We also have an opportunity here in our area. It's a furniture bank that they take donations and the veterans sign up and they can get furniture from that furniture bank. I have donated furniture that I didn't have space for, that I was going to give to the veteran, but just didn't have the space. And I've taken it down and dropped it off. They take it all. If they don't like it, they'll get rid of it. But that's what they do. That's all they do. They get donations for cash. They take clothes, the gamut. They cover. They're really great people. So bear in mind, if you decide to do a furniture drive like we did, or like Wayne did, be prepared to take it all, but segregate out what you want to keep to take and deliver to the veteran versus, yeah, that's not going to make it.
Yeah, that's important.
Yeah, that's
Quality is key.
Quality is
And one other thing that we have gotten our hands into, so to speak, is these different housing units where, in fact, my mother was in one until she passed, but these are high dollar housing complexes that these people pay. They pay to buy the place. And then when they pass, a lot of people don't have room. Their next of kin don't have room, or the people that were living there that passed don't have any kin in the area. And we're talking about, $500,000-$600,000 complexes that hold these people. And they're living in an upgraded, townhouse as far as I'm concerned. But what we've gotten is that when these people pass and the complex has furniture they have to get rid of, they call us first and ask us if we want it. And these are normally high-end, high-priced furniture that are in these houses. So that works out great for us also.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, thank you very much, Wayne and Carl, for your insights. That's really helpful. And so I think with that, we will go ahead and move on to our next presenter. That's going to be Pam Kennard from Ocala, Florida, Lodge number 286. Pam's going to spend some time talking to us today about the importance of partnering with local veterans agencies for referrals, making direct contact with veterans to understand what they need in their homes, and going shopping with veterans in person and staying in touch afterward. So you can go ahead and take it away, Pam. Thank you.
And we can't hear you.
Pam, I think you're still muted.
I can't hear her either.
Turn the volume up on your computer. If the volume on your computer is down, it affects your microphone as well.
Oh, I think that might be working. Pam, do you want to try that? No, that was someone else. My mistake. Do you know what? We can move on to the next presenter while Pam, while you figure out some of your sound issues, and we'll come back to you if that works.
Okay, sounds good. So we will come back to Pam in a moment. For now, we will go ahead and hear from Denise Silva, who is a member of Walnut Creek, California, Lodge 1811. Denise is prepared to speak to us a little bit about how to stretch funds to better meet veterans' needs, including ways to collect donations through using social media platforms and forging creative local partnerships. So Denise, if you'd like to go ahead and turn on your volume, we're ready to hear from you.
Good morning.
Hi, good
Everybody
morning.
hear me?
I can hear you.
We started our program actually the fall of 2016. We started doing our own welcome home kits with just donations from lodge members. But then the social workers, the HUD VASH workers asked us, can you do furniture? So we thought about it and we said, why not? So we started asking members for furniture donations, and so we branched out there. We went and started using social media like Nextdoor, Facebook, use Facebook Marketplace. You can find free furniture there. We have partnered with the Lions thrift store, and they had a member that of the Lions that was also a member and one of my crew members for the Elks. And so when we went to clear out a house, we get a lot of referrals from realtors for houses that the owners had passed away. When we got a house that we had to go in and take everything out, what we couldn't use, the Lions thrift store could use. So we partnered that way. And we also partnered with furniture rental staging companies, and the Habitat Restore. They have donated furniture to our veterans. And our biggest partnership is with the local realtors. We have several realtors who are members of our lodge, and they all belong to real estate groups that interconnect with each other, and they make a lot of referrals to other real estate companies, and we get a lot of our referrals from them to go clean out a house or just, you know, one or two pieces, whatever the owner needs to get rid of. And it's been really nice having that real estate connection. Our funding sources are the welcome home kits, grants, and fundraising. We have an RV club at our lodge. RV club does an annual fundraiser just for the veterans. So things that don't really qualify under welcome home, we can get with our RV club funds. Like recently we had a veteran who didn't want to go into housing. He didn't plan on staying in the area because he'd been a veteran, but he went back as a contractor in Afghanistan. He'd been there for 16 years, and he had to come back home because his passport expired and he needed to wait and get a new one, and that was taking a little time. He didn't want to use up somebody else's HUD VASH Section 8 housing voucher, so he just wanted a tent and sleeping bag. So we used our fundraising funds to get him a tent, sleeping bag, backpack, new boots. And we do all our shopping. We do usually Walmart and the Dollar Tree. That's where we can get the most bang for our buck. But I will say during COVID, it was really sometimes difficult to get everything because the shelves were bare a lot of places. So sometimes we had to spend a little more than what we usually did just because it wasn't there on the shelf. When we do our fundraising, it's usually like we do a crab feed annually, and then we do raffle drawings at our RV outings, and half the funds go to the charity account, which is usually used for veterans. We use Nextdoor for some of our social media checking for donations, but I can't do it just on my neighborhood. So our lodge is it's not that big. It's only 350 members, but they are all in different areas in different neighborhoods. So several people in the lodge will post the same request. And then I end up getting at least what I need, if not more. So if you're going to post using social media, make sure it's branched out through the communities that you're serving. Because we have people at our lodge that live in 5 or 6 different towns. So it really spreads it out.
Yeah, that's great. It sounds like you've had a lot of success making sure that it's a team endeavor that multiple lodge members are participating in, which I think a lot of lodge members have found.
We also have had a lot of response from our veterans that we've served in that. So we've gotten several veterans who have joined us in an effort to deliver furniture and welcome home kits to the veterans. Matter of fact, we had one veteran we served last May, or a year ago May, and all through the pandemic, he was the one that was there to help me and my husband and maybe one other person to pick up and deliver furniture. And I talked to my exalted ruler about him, and I said, you know, he would make a good citizen of the year because all through the pandemic, he was there for us because he wanted to give back for what we did for him. And my exalted ruler did make him citizen of the year.
That's lovely.
And,
I love that. Oh, sorry.
Another thing is putting notices out on community bulletin boards. We do that, and the lodge newsletter. And then we have business cards that we can hand out to people who make donations. So I always take some with me and give them a card and say, if you have any friends who have stuff to get rid of, give them my number. And we've had a lot of people coming back and calling and saying, oh, I got your number from so-and-so, that you picked up furniture from them. So the word of mouth is really important. Recently we had a real estate company, Keller Williams, and they called me up because they heard about us from one of our real estate members, and they gave us 40 new coffee makers, 40 bags of ground coffee to go with them, and the filters. Plus they gave us 150 personal hygiene bags and $300 in cash. And when I went to their office to pick up the stuff, I gave them a little speech about our program and how they could help. And they actually loaded my truck, followed me to the lodge, and unloaded it into our storage container.
Wow, that sounds
that
like a
was-
really great partner.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, thank you so much, Denise. That's a lot of really great suggestions on how to get the word out and how to recruit people to be your partners in serving homeless veterans. So thank you very much for sharing.
And one more thing,
Yeah.
if you have kids or grandkids, kids, take them with you, let them help. It's a great learning experience for them.
Yeah, that's right. Denise, you've talked about your granddaughters coming along with you to serve veterans, which I love and think is fantastic. So good advice, absolutely. All right, let's move on to our next lodge. Next, we will hear from Portsmouth, New Hampshire, lodge number 97. We'll be talking to Marga Kolp, Brenna Kavanaugh, and Dave Clark. And they'll be sharing with us a little bit about, some strategies to help veterans identify the items that they need for their homes and staying in touch after serving veterans. So folks, you can take it away.
Hello, Nadesh, and thank you, all of you, hearing all your great stories of helping veterans. We all have to remember they give us the chance to have the freedom we all so much enjoy every day. But I wanted to have my other two co-partners here with me today because we call ourselves the three-legged stool. We can't do this without each one of us. We all take a part in this. And how it works is we partnered up with VASH programs, the HUD VASH, Easter Seals. We have Liberty House, which is a transitional homeless shelter here in New Hampshire. And so we have quite a few partners. We're only little over 2 years into doing the Welcome Home kits. But how I've got it set up, or the three of us have it set up, is we have a form, and once the case manager fills the form out, she emails it to me, and I call the veteran directly, and I introduce myself, mention the case manager's name, so that they feel comfortable chatting with me. We have a little dialogue. I thank them for their service. And then we move on from there, and I find out some of their needs, for their new home they're moving into. And I walk them from room to room, starting with, of course, a bed. Every veteran needs a bed, a nice bed to sleep in. So we get that under control right away, whether they've got a bed or not. We partnered with a nice gentleman here in New Hampshire that wholesales us very nice hotel quality style bed, mattress, spring, bedding, pillows, and he delivers and sets them up for the veteran at no charge. He's a veteran himself, wonderful guy. Anyway, and then we go from room to room. We find out, what their needs are, and we chat about, when they served. One of our gentlemen served in Japan for quite a while, and one of the things he really on his wish list was to have a Japanese tea set. Well, we made that happen along with all of his other household items that he wanted. Another was a female veteran who was having her first child. And she said, I don't care if I have anything for myself, but I'd like a baby's bottle warmer. So, you chat with them and you find out the things that will make their life and their stay in their new home as comfortable and, as pleasant as possible. So when we go through all of that, I go online because with Walmart.com, when the pandemic hit, we had almost had to come to a stop at doing welcome home kits. But Nadesh, between you, myself, and several other people, we developed an online system. And here in New Hampshire, it's a big state. So that's helped us greatly because it's sometimes a 2-hour ride just to get the veteran their household items that they've requested. So with this online system, it's great. It works wonderful for us. It's not for every state, but for us, it's been fantastic. We can do a lot more of the welcome home kits. And after I place the order, I call the veteran back or text them. I like to text because they have it right in front of them, but I will contact them either way. And I give them the dates of delivery, and I tell them it's going to be a lot like Christmas. They're going to have packages showing up every day for them to, unpack and see what we've gotten for them. And I go through their color choices. It's just wonderful having a rapport with them. And I'm the only one that calls them direct because, I have to have their cell phone number. And then after I've done all that, and then I pass it on to Brenna. So I'm going to let Brenna tell you what she does on her next step.
Hi, I'm Brenna Kavanaugh. I'm Marga's deputy representative with the Liberty House, and I assist with the welcome home kits. So Marga sends me the completed order form, and I send it to Nadesh and the folks at ENVS. And I have to say, the turnaround time has been phenomenal. I mean, sometimes within the same day, it's unbelievable how quickly they're processed.
Yeah.
And Marga has set up a really good system on our end. We've had changes in leadership at our lodge and different people filling in Dave's role and the finance role. So Marga has just a really good situation that is set up to streamline the process. So that way, if God forbid I leave or Dave leaves, the next person, there's not going to be any sort of hiccups. And you, Nadesh, and the team in your team make that really successful on your end because it's processed very quickly, and we really appreciate that. Thank you.
Now's Dave. It got from myself to Brenna, then it goes to our third legged stool here, Dave.
Good afternoon.
Who is
Yes,
a veteran, by the way.
my name's Dave Clark, and yes, I'm a veteran. And after the ladies send me the information, I process it through, send it to the Elks Club treasurer, so she's aware of what's to come. My job is the easy part. I just make sure that the Elks knows what's coming and what we've spent, and then they just go from there. So it's very easy for me.
But we all need each other desperately
Yes.
to help our veterans get exactly what they need. One thing I want to mention to all of you is we're starting on July 1. We've got these wonderful, I don't know if you can see them, but they're Elks thank you cards. Well, they're not a thank you card, but they have a very nice writing inside. And we're going to start sending those a week or two after the veteran has moved in and we know they've gotten all their items and are settled in. And it's just to remind them because they're in quite a little bit of a turmoil when they're moving. So this just reminds them, and we thank them for their service, and send them a little welcome home card. Just remind them, that we're here for them. And the other thing I really wanted to mention, Nadesh, was one of our hiccups when we first started this over 2 years ago was we weren't sure, to tie up the lodge's money for a welcome home kit. I have to say that the turnaround from when we get the reimbursement from National is within days. So we're very impressed with that part of the program. Thank you. And this has been wonderful.
Yes, thank you for hosting.
Thank you.
Thank you all for sharing. It's great to see all members of the three-legged stool together in one video. So, and it sounds like, would you say that the fact that you're all working together makes it possible for you to serve more veterans since you all sort of have your job and you know what you need to do?
Absolutely. For the three of us, we couldn't do it without all three. It becomes overwhelming for one person to try to handle the number that we have coming in. As you know, we just started taking on Boston, Massachusetts, the HUD VASH program, and they're coming in fast and furious.
Yeah,
But that's what we're here for. We don't mind. Keep them numbers coming, keep them coming in, as long as we can help the veterans.
Great. Well, thank you very much, Portsmouth. So let's see, I think, Pam, it looks like you were able to join on another device. Do you want to give it another try and see if your volume's working and you're able to share with us how you handle things in Ocala, Florida?
Well, let's hope you can hear me.
We can hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right. I have been the Veterans Chairperson, I think, since 2018. And we locked out in 2019 and were part of a stand down with an organization that's called Veterans Helping Veterans. They are right in the same building as the VA administration people, so it makes it nice. And that's where we located some of the people with Volunteers of America. They do a lot of work with the veterans in this area. The homeless started with our welcome home packages and the kits, and they just are fantastic. The caseworkers there shared our information with some of the other agencies. So now we pick up quite a few. In fact, I made contact with one this morning. And what we do is there's at least 2 Elks that will take them shopping themselves. In this area, we have very diverse people. We are in Florida. We get a lot of people from all over. And so I'd make initial contact, kind of find out a little bit about them, not go into their story. That's up to them if they want to tell it. And then we set up a time to go shopping. They get to pick where we go. I ask them to make a list because most of the time, whatever's at the top of that list is the most important items to them. Sometimes it's a lawn chair because they don't have any place to sit. Sometimes it's the coffee maker. And so we take it from there. And as we go along, we've done this enough times that we can make suggestions on things they don't think about. They don't think sometimes they need a broom, but they do. And so it becomes a really nice outing, and we have lots of fun with it. All of them are very appreciative, and it's one of my favorite things about being an Elk. I get a lot of support from the lodge with anything I attempt to do with the veterans. And after we go shopping, I stay in touch. I wait a few days, give them time to sort through their Christmas, as we refer to it, because it's kind of like Christmas when they get home and have all those things to open and find places for. And then I stay in touch with them. Some are more receptive than others. One, he grows vegetables for me because he doesn't eat them, but he likes to grow them. And he actually has helped out in several different times with other veterans if I need help moving furniture, because I do offer that to them. I have a truck, but I don't necessarily have the strength, but I have plenty of my lodge members that will help me if I call on them. So it's one that I try to stay in touch with them. Some, like I said, are more receptive than others. And if they need furniture, we have a place here. It's called Pay It Forward, that it's a Christian-based, and they can get the voucher from their caseworker is where it comes from. But I've met more than one veteran there to offer my pickup truck if they got somebody to help move it. And we just did that not too long ago, and his helper showed up with a trailer and they didn't even need my truck. But then at Christmas time, I always have a big Christmas party, and I invite all the veterans that we have taken throughout the years. And also I invite the veterans helping veterans employees and volunteers, because most of them are veterans, and the volunteers, some of them are actually ones that we have worked with the welcome home package. So it's a big deal. They tell me it's one of the best things they've had, which I try to make it interesting and different and fun, because a lot of them don't have family around, don't have anybody, and Christmas can be very depressing. So I just try to make them know that they are appreciated and their lives counted and their service counted. And I get a lot of support from my lodge. As you know, most of the time I go over the $300 limit. We're lucky that the agencies furnish them with a bed, so we don't have to worry about that. And I'm lucky that I have money, an account at the lodge that's not part of the grant that I can draw from to help counteract what I overspend. I have a hard time telling them no. So that's basically what we do here in Ocala.
Great. Yeah, thank you for sharing. And I especially like hearing about sort of the ways that you try to give the veterans you serve a home at your lodge. That's really a great thing to be able to offer.
I have actually I invite them to the lodge periodically. If we have something going on, I will invite them to be our guest. And we have several veterans that really make them feel welcome, which is nice.
That's great. Well, thank you very much for sharing, Pam. We will move on now to hear from Lee Hincher, who is from San Antonio, Texas, Lodge number 216. Lee is going to tell us a little bit about how his lodge has developed important partnerships with other local organizations that serve veterans. Lee, the stage is all yours.
Okay, hope everybody can hear me. So as a little bit of background about San Antonio, it's, I think, the 7th or 8th largest city in the country, and yet we only have about 100 Elks. So a pretty small lodge. And San Antonio has 3 major military installations. So there's a huge military active duty, retiree, and a veteran population in the area. In fact, San Antonio is called Military City, USA. In addition, there's 2 large military hospitals that will draw retirees and veterans, and the Audie Murphy VA Medical Center in San Antonio. So a lot of veteran presence here. In 18, the San Antonio mayor declared that the city would work to end veteran homelessness. And about that same time, I just happened to see something on, I don't remember if it was Facebook or Twitter or something, about an organization that was started by some folks from graduate students from the University of Texas, San Antonio, that were helping homeless veterans. About that happened just a few weeks after I first heard about the Welcome Home Kit program. And so I shot a note to them and said, hey, we have a program, maybe we could help you. We can purchase some things to help those folks, because they were basically given 4 walls and a roof when they were rehomed. So that organization is called Vet Strong, and they're a group of, a lot of them are veterans, but some college students as well, and just interested community people. And our partnership with Vet Strong is that we handle procurement and they handle distribution. So they've got a lot of bodies, and we basically have 3 of us in the lodge that are working on this program. We're all retired military, but we've set it up kind of a system where we'll go to Walmart and do the shopping, and they'll meet us at Walmart when we're done. And so is we don't have any place in our lodge to store the items. We can shop for 8 or 10 kits at a time. Now, one of the great things about that partnership is through their contacts, they've set up a partnership with a local mattress firm manager, and we get some really good deals on beds. We most recently purchased some queen beds, full set, brand new mattress, box springs, and frame for about $330 a piece, which is, if anybody's buying beds, you know that it's really hard to fit it under that $500 limit and still have room for money left over for other things. So, in addition to partnering with VetStrong, through their contacts, we've hooked up with a couple of people that work in the HUD-VASH program at the Audie Murphy Hospital. And so we've delivered a number of kits to them as well. I mean, really, our key has been the partnership. We couldn't do it. We couldn't move the goods. We couldn't find the veterans had it not been the partnership primarily with VetStrong. We've delivered over 125 kits to them over the last couple of years. So we basically do 8 or 10 at a time. Again, thanks to the staff up there for the quick reimbursement. Keeps our trustees a lot happier knowing that money is coming back right away to the lodge. So, and if anybody, if there's not a HUD-VASH program close to you, look for other organizations, the VFW, the Legion. And then I saw that Rick posted a note about Epsilon Sigma Alpha. And we are trying to get off the ground with some partnerships with them. They are a nationwide sorority fraternity sorority, I guess, because they have male members now, but they've adopted that welcome home kits from the Elks as their nationwide charity. So we're kind of excited about getting that rolling here in Texas.
Yeah,
and that's pretty
really
much our
exciting.
story.
Fantastic. Well, yes, teamwork definitely makes everything possible. So I think your sharing really highlights just how true it is, that how much more we get done when we team up with other people with similar missions. So thank you so much for sharing. I know that we are running a little bit behind, so I do apologize. If we could go ahead and move on to our final presenter, it's going to be Barry Roberts from Elgin, Illinois, Lodge 737. Barry, you can go ahead and take it away. Barry is going to tell us a little bit about strategies that make the welcome home kits even easier than you might expect. Oh. Barry, looks like you are still muted.
While she's trying to get unmuted, can we get a list together of all of our people at different locations that are doing this so we can talk to each other if we need to?
Yeah, so like everyone who's participating in the call today, or just lodges in general?
Well,
sorry,
I
go
would
ahead.
I would say definitely the ones today and the other lodges in general, that you get our numbers out to them, so if they need help, they can reach out and ask us.
I see. Yeah, that's a good idea. Another suggestion too that we had was to encourage someone to create on the Elks message boards a thread where people can discuss welcome home questions and have like a little home base as well. I think that could be really useful for people.
Yeah.
So definitely would recommend that. But yes, good suggestion. All right, Barry, looks like you got your volume sorted out.
Oh, good. Can you hear me all right now?
Yes.
Great. Okay, well, I've heard a lot of interesting things here today, and one of the more comforting things that I've learned is that we do a lot of welcome home kits, and it seems like there's a lot of similarities between what other lodges are doing and what we're doing. We are actually dealing with 3 different facilities when it comes to providing welcome home kits. So the largest one is our local VA hospital, Edward Hines Jr. VA Hospital in Chicago. And we're doing about 1 kit a week with them. We have a second one. It's an apartment complex for previously homeless veterans. It's a permanent residence. So when they move in there, we help them out. And the third one is a transitional home up north of us. And the homeless veterans move in there and just for a period of time until they get some training on how to find a job, and the caseworkers there help them find a job, and little classes on how to budget money and so on. So those are the 3 that we do. The common things that they all have is, number 1, we always work with the case officers there. That's very important. That's how we connect. They are the ones who decide who comes in and gets the welcome home kit. We have actually tailored each facility. We've created a form of needs for each facility so that it's all custom. For example, Hines VA Hospital provides beds for the homeless veterans, whereas the transitional home we work with does not. So occasionally we have to provide beds for them. Some of the more common things that they want, that they need, so many of them move in to their new homes without pots and pans and dishes and toasters, microwaves. And then we move on to, like, they need towels and everything from laundry baskets. I heard somebody mention brooms. That's important too. Vacuum cleaners and so on. So we have the case officer sit down with the veteran, and they fill out the form together, and then it is emailed to us. After that, a lot of times we call the customer or the veteran before we deliver to make sure that they still need what they're asking for, because sometimes if there's a span of days or a week or so that elapse, then the needs change. We always go in when we deliver, and the first thing we say is, if you don't need something we're bringing, please let us know, because we'll save that for the next veteran. One of the things that we do with our welcome home kit is that we actually buy everything new. The folks at our Target store know us very well because we're there about once a week. They give us an additional discount, and we also are tax exempt, so we use that. And then at the end, I have a red card, their own Target card that gets you an extra 5% off of that. So we do pretty well as far as pricing, but we prefer to give everybody new items right out of the box. When we are delivering, we like to get a picture of the veteran next to what they're receiving. And most of the time they're okay with that. Sometimes you run across somebody who doesn't want their picture taken, and that's okay. We don't do it. There's, what else can I tell you here? I find that the welcome home kit is really my favorite of everything that the Elks does for veterans, simply because it gives us a one-on-one connection with the veteran. And we can see their appreciation so many times, from moving off the streets, living in a forest preserve or wherever, couch surfing or whatever the situation may be. And they move in and they just look around their new apartment and there's nothing there. So many times we go in there with our delivery and they have no furniture. We don't really work with furniture, but we might have to expand that a little bit at some time. So we are thrilled with the Welcome Home kits. They're a big part of what our lodge does. So, like I say, we still use the focus and the Freedom Grant and whatever else we can do to help the homeless veterans. And we're going to continue to do that. We get good cooperation with the members there with all of our projects. So thank you for offering that. We do appreciate it. And I would encourage everybody who has a VA hospital, especially nearby, to reach out to the head caseworker there. The head case officer is the guy you have to sell before the rest of the case officers take it up. And that's what we have done. Sometimes you don't make the sale right away. They have to be talked into it a little bit. Sometimes they're a little bit wary about organizations coming in and offering programs, I suppose. But once they get to know you and see what you have to offer, they seem to really appreciate it. And then once you send out a couple Welcome Home kits, and they're there to see with the veteran what they're getting and how appreciative the veteran is, then they know that we're on the right track and doing the right thing, and they like us. So that's about all I have to offer here. Thank you for the time.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing, Barry. We really appreciate it. I know that we are about 10 minutes past 1 right now. So anyone who has to go, of course, feel free to sign off. Don't want to make you feel pressured to stick around, but we heard some really great information from all of our presenters today. So I did want to open up the floor in case anyone would like to ask questions of each other or of ENVSC staff, or if anyone has something that they'd like to sort of piggyback off of our presenters. We've got some time to discuss if you want to jump in. So feel free if you want to just unmute yourself and ask a question, you may.
I know Rick and Gretchen from Hopkins, Minnesota had some thoughts. Rick and Gretchen, if you guys are able to jump on and share that information about ESA, which I know Lee briefly mentioned as well, that would be appreciated.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, Lee mentioned ESA, and it's just to give you a little history on them. They adopted us, 3 years ago? They are a sorority organization who they do the most fundraising for St. Jude, but they do a lot of local fundraising as well. And they got to know us and what we're all about. And so they started doing fundraising for us locally here. Several of them have become Elk members as well. So it's been a great source for membership. But then they liked the program so much that they invited us to speak at their national convention. So we did. And as a result, they have decided that they wanted to adopt us nationally and try to hook up with as many other Elks lodges. So it's a great source for revenue. So that we can expand our kit, we can buy beds when necessary. We can buy groceries, which we've added to our kit on a regular basis. And that's been a welcome addition, obviously, because a lot of these people have nothing to eat at the very beginning of their being set up in a new home. So Texas, as Lee had mentioned, and Stacy had mentioned earlier on the side chat, that they're working with them. And I've got the Lakewood and the Fort Collins Lodge in Colorado that will be speaking with ESA today or tomorrow. So they're very excited. So but your stories are very similar to ours. It's how we find our vets is a little bit different. We go through the CRRC, which I think Barry mentioned. Sometimes they don't want to see you. It's just another organization with maybe false promises, but Gretchen made the two of us go sit in their lobby, and they finally had us into their office. And ever since then, they've fallen in love with the Elks and with this program. So if anybody ever wants to know about the ESA, and if you've got a need for additional both financial resources, and they've been great volunteers for delivery, please reach out to us, and you can have my phone number if you want to publish that, Mary.
Yeah, because they're a nationwide organization, and so they have chapters all over the country.
Yeah.
So they're probably in your area.
Yeah. Hey guys, this is Stacy. I'm the Texas Elk State Veterans Chair. Yeah, we just partnered with ESA, and I'm looking forward to meeting Rick and them. It's been great. They have stepped in wholeheartedly with us. We're working on it now with Lee at San Antonio and up in my district, which is the Fort Worth, Grapevine, Arlington area. And they've already jumped in with both feet. We had our state president-elect went and spoke at their convention back about a month or so ago. And then they came and spoke at our convention at the beginning of this month. And they've already donated probably close to $2,000 worth of stuff and gift cards and stuff like that. They're constantly going to start holding fundraisers. We've given our local chapter the list of stuff that Grapevine uses and the list that I use. And they've taken X number of items off those lists, and they said, don't worry about buying those. We'll take care of those. They're working on us. I'm working on a program here in Texas through Amazon right now. One of our lodges has a distribution center, they're a logistics center, and they're right next to Amazon. And Amazon is looking for a way to, for lack of a better word, unload truckloads of stuff that they can't sell online anymore. You may not know what you get, but you can, say we need cleaning products, we need bedding supplies, we need this, that, and the other. So right now I'm looking at some storage facilities through one of our other members so that we can accept these truckloads and then use what we can for Welcome Home and stuff that we can't use to distribute to some other organizations. And the partnership with ESA is what's making all this happen.
Yeah.
And they are simply amazing. So reach out to either Rick or myself, or even Lee, if you want to find out if there's a chapter in your area. They're going to help us with the big stuff. We don't do furniture either. We're just now working on a partnership. We just found out that there's a furniture bank here in the Fort Worth area.
Yeah.
Can
I jump in there?
Yeah.
Okay. We've got an Amazon, so I think another thing we should consider doing is sharing contacts. We got an Amazon distribution center just south of us here. And maybe part of our conversation going forward is how do we get maybe national purchasing power from people like Dollar Tree and Bed Bath and Beyond. We've been finding better pricing there, but that kind of stuff too, that's been helpful. But back to ESA, I didn't want to skip off it too far. They've been super supportive, very energized group.
Yeah, and they're willing to also not just do that, but like if you're having a veterans program there at your lodge and you need help, you need food servers, you need whatever, get in touch with them too. They're always willing to jump in and help out. I've got 2 big veterans events coming up at my lodge, and they're like, let us know. We'll be there to help cook, serve food, whatever you guys need us to do. And I've heard a lot of people talk about partnerships, and here in Texas, we've been doing Welcome Home just about since it started, Mary, right? Probably since 2016. We're 700 something kits in through our state, and the partnerships is what makes us work better.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because I mean, we're limited. We work with HUD-VASH, and I just sent 5 kits just about 30 minutes ago to our local homeless shelter. That's special. It's called Patriot House, and they specialize in veterans, and now they're needing kits because they have people that don't get placed through HUD-VASH. So I just sent 5 kits with my daughter because I'm still technically at work. But yeah, the partnerships is what makes this program really, really great, because the more veterans we can help, the better. I'm a 20-year Air Force veteran, so that's my passion. And the more veterans we can help, the better. So any group you can partner with just makes it that much better.
Yeah, You couldn't have said it better. I mean, around here, it's because we work with people like every third Saturday, My Very Own Bed, and about a half of the auxiliary part of the VFW has given us donations. So they keep it keeps growing because we have all these other people that just say, here's some money, I want to help. And they identify the people that need the help, and they provide the additional finances to really make this a very robust program as well.
Yep. And if anybody's going to be at Grand Lodge, I know the veterans meeting, Mary, is on Sunday from 12 to 2. And then we have 2 hours before opening ceremony. So if anybody's going to be at Grand Lodge, let's maybe after the veterans meeting, get together and talk about what we can do to make this program bigger.
That's a great suggestion, Stacy. The veterans meeting is from 12 to 2 on Sunday. Registration is, it says sold out, but if you didn't get a registration, you can wait outside and see if there's any empty seats, but I'll be there afterwards. I also have office hours that morning from 8:45 to 9:45. So if people want to come and talk then with other volunteers, but for now, let's just take your suggestions, Stacy, and stick around after the seminar on Sunday, or show up after the seminar on Sunday if you can't get in, and we'll do a gathering. And we can certainly talk about having more of these meetings as well, in addition to keeping this conversation going, because there's so many really great ideas being shared today. And Nadej and I know that there's a lot more ideas out there from lodges all over the country. So we love hearing the stories. We're happy that we can send you the funds to make this happen.
Yeah, but it's appreciated.
Very much so.
Yes, thank you for all the good ideas.
Any other questions or burning comments from anyone you want to
I was wondering how we can get those thank you cards that I can't remember which lodge was sending out.
Oh, I think Portsmouth, New Hampshire.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's actually, if you go on the vendor area on elks.org and you go to the vendors area, there's a company out there that does custom elk stationery. And I think that's where they got them. I know Grapevine, I don't know what I did with theirs. Grapevine made their own. Trying to see if I still had it on my desk. And then what I do in my kits, I just did something on a simple piece of paper. It's got all the veterans logos. It's got the Elks National Veteran Services logo. It's got our saying, as long as there's, the benevolent and protective order of Elks will, never forget. And then I also put my business card as I'm also my lodge chair and my district chair and the state chair. So I'm a busy veteran. But I put my business card in there too. So they know who they can contact if they have more questions or if they just want to reach out.
Fantastic. That's great.
And we're happy to share our logo anytime if you want to get them printed locally or anything like that as well.
Yes, absolutely. All right.
Okay, well, we'll post this recording online. Oh, hey,
Leonard, did you want to add something?
Comment?
Hi, how are you today?
Hi.
Over the last 3+ years, the major effort that I put in was getting sponsors. I rarely deal directly with the veteran, having been stood up many times in trying to deliver. My sponsor comes to the lodge instead and picks up the items and delivers it to the veteran, which has been really highly successful for us. The only issue that I continue to run into is bedding. One is in procurement, like one of the gentlemen said, the expenses. The other one is actually getting it delivered in the first place. So I'm still battling with that. Big Lots seems to have a twin bed and mattress program that is affordable. You can get that for about $230 when they have it in stock, and that's always an issue. Basically what I did when I first started is that I created a welcome home kit scope. of the program. And I send that out to every one of my sponsors so they can understand what I'm asking of them and what they can expect from us at Vancouver 823, which answers a lot of questions for them. And then I've also emailed them a form that has 67 different items listed on it that they send me. And when I get that form, then I go over it and frequently contact the sponsor again and saying, really, is this all this person really needs? Up in the upper right-hand corner of the form, also, I asked whether it's a man or a woman. Because frankly, if it's a woman, I try to buy differently. I try to get things that maybe are a little bit more feminine. Instead of brown towels, maybe I'll get turquoise or pink or something like that. Bedding also, because their self-esteem is generally so low, anything that we can do to help make it better for them, I think is going to help them continue on. Here in the Pacific Northwest, we have a severe homeless issue. I'm in Vancouver, but Portland, just across the river from us, is really sad. And I was talking to one of our sponsors the other day as what the success program here is with them. One of the sponsors says got about a 30% failure rate. The other one is, she says, no, she thought that was too high, probably closer to about 20% failure rate due to PTS and just simple facts that some of these guys and gals just can't do it. So I've been somewhat reluctant to pass out information to veterans concerning where the items came from, simply because we got lots of telephone calls to the lodge asking for more things from them. And, it's just not something that I'm comfortable doing. It's always been with me anyway, is that the welcome home kit is a one-shot deal. You put in your list and this is what you're going to get. Luckily enough, I'm also a VAVS, and I do have some funds available there that I can kind of sometimes throw some extra funds in. But over the last 3+ years, we've found, except for last year, we found our giving grow rapidly to where I've done sometimes 3 or 4 kits a week, which I guarantee you keeps you very busy. But the accolades that you get from my sponsors makes it very well worth it. And so I appreciate all of the work that everybody else is doing and what Grand Lodge is doing. Thank you.
Thank you, Leonard.
Thank you. Thanks for sharing. All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining us today. This has been really informative and illuminating, and I'm excited that some of you will be getting together after the veterans meeting. So with that, I think that's a wrap, and I hope everyone has a great rest of your day, and I'm sure we will talk soon.
Thanks. Everyone.
Bye.